Our bodies consist of a number of biological systems that carry out specific functions necessary for everyday living. The human body contains trillions of cells, 78 different organs, and more than 60,000 miles of blood vessels if you stretch them end to end. Incredibly, all of these cells, vessels, and organs work together to keep you alive. Each organ belongs to one of 10 human body systems. These body systems are interconnected and dependent upon one another to function. Respiratory system and circulatory system are good examples on how body systems interact with each other. So let's find out how do they work together. Let us start on how our respiratory works in our body system. Air enters the respiratory system through the nose and nasal cavity, passes down the throat or pharynx, and through the voice box or larynx. The windpipe or trachea is the largest airway. The trachea branches into two smaller airways, the left and right bronchi, which lead to the two lungs. The bronchi themselves branch many times into smaller airways. Ending in the narrowest airways are called bronchioles. Each bronchiole is a bunch of tiny air sacs called alveoli. Within the alveoli walls is a dense network of tiny blood vessels called capillaries, where exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide occurs. Oxygen will absorb by the blood, while the blood releases carbon dioxide and gases which we exhale. The absorbed oxygen is transported throughout the body through bloodstream or blood vessels to be used by our body organs, and thus function of circulatory system begin. Circulatory system is the transport system of the body. In circulation, there are three main important parts: your heart, your blood, and blood vessels. Blood vessels such as arteries, veins, and capillaries. These are tubes that serve as passageway for blood to reach the different parts of the body. Circulatory system is also called cardiovascular system. Cardio means heart and vascular means channel or passage. Circulation starts when your heart pumps the oxygen-rich blood to the different parts of your body. The oxygen-rich blood that pumped by the heart are carried by the blood vessels called arteries. They carry oxygenated blood away from the heart. As the blood gets further away from the heart, the arteries are getting smaller and smaller. These small arteries are called arteriole. As the blood reaches to the smallest blood vessels called capillaries, exchange of nutrients and gases occur. Oxygen is absorbed by the body parts while carbon dioxide is released into the blood. The blood that travels way out of capillaries is now deoxygenated. It travels through the smallest veins called venules, then moves through the veins and enters the right side of the heart. How the heart works as deoxygenated blood enter. Let us study first the main parts of the heart. It has 4 chambers: the right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, and left ventricle. As you can see the flow of blood, the 2 atrium collects blood and the ventricle which pump out the blood. The heart has valves which control the blood flow. They prevent the backflow of the blood and ensure that blood flows in one direction. The tricuspid valve is between the right atrium and right ventricle, while bicuspid or mitral valve is between the left atrium and left ventricle. They call it mitral because of the shape of the mitral hat of Pope. From these bulbs, blood can pass freely from atria to ventricles but cannot flow back to atria. Two other valves control the flow of blood out of the heart. The pulmonary valve lets the blood be pumped from the heart to the lungs, while aortic valve allows blood to be pumped from the heart to the rest of the body. Now let us study the flow of blood in the heart on how it enters, contracts, pumps, and goes out. Blood enters the heart through two large veins, the inferior and superior vena cava, emptying oxygen-poor blood from the body into the right atrium of the heart. As the atrium contracts, blood flows from your right atrium into your right ventricle through the open tricuspid valve. When the ventricle is full, the tricuspid valve shuts. This prevents blood from flowing backward into the atria while the ventricle contracts. As the ventricle contracts, blood leaves the heart through the pulmonic valve into the pulmonary artery to the lungs where it is oxygenated. Note that oxygen-poor or carbon dioxide containing blood goes through the pulmonary artery to the lungs where carbon dioxide is exchanged for oxygen. This circulation is what we call pulmonary circulation. It moves blood between the heart and the lungs. It transports deoxygenated blood to the lungs to absorb oxygen and release carbon dioxide. The oxygenated blood then flows back to the heart. The pulmonary vein empties oxygen-rich blood from the lungs into the left atrium of the heart. As the atrium contracts, blood flows from your left atrium into your left ventricle through the open mitral valve. When the ventricle is full, the mitral valve shuts. This prevents blood from flowing backward into the atrium while the ventricle contracts. As the ventricle contracts, oxygen-enriched blood leaves the heart through the aortic valve into the aorta. And the circulation of oxygenated blood and nutrients again travel to the arteries to capillaries and used by different organs in your body like capillaries in your brain, lower abdomen, eyes, skin, and kidney. This kind of circulation is called systemic circulation. It moves oxygenated blood between the heart to the rest of the body. How does our heart continue to pump? The heart's pumping rhythm is set at the rate of the heart contracts. The heart cannot afford to skip a beat. The heart should regularly contract so that our cells will receive enough nutrients and oxygen. The specialized region of the cardiac muscles is called pacemaker. The sinoatrial or SA node sends out an electrical impulse. The upper heart chambers or atria contract, while the atrioventricular or AV node sends an impulse into the ventricles. The lower heart chambers or ventricles contract or pump. It makes sure the heart never skips a beat. If, for any reason, the pacemaker fails to maintain a normal rhythm, the person becomes weak and may die.
Remember,
the function of respiratory system is to purify or filter the air that we breathe or to provide oxygen in the blood and to remove wastes or carbon dioxide in the body. While the function of circulatory system is to pump blood throughout the body, to remove waste in the body, and to protect us from illness and diseases. Circulatory system and the respiratory system work closely together to ensure that organ tissues receive enough oxygen and nutrients. Additionally, the two body systems work together to remove carbon dioxide, which is a metabolic waste product.
Tips for a healthy heart.
For a healthy heart, eat a balanced diet. A variety of food in your daily meals will supply the necessary nutrients in your body. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, and whole grains are a good source of fiber, which is beneficial to the circulation of blood. Avoid fatty foods or high cholesterol, which form cholesterol deposits in the blood that cause hypertension. Avoid salty foods. Eating too much salt might raise your chances of things like enlarged heart muscle, headaches, heart failure, high blood pressure, kidney disease, kidney stones, osteoporosis, stomach cancer, and stroke. Avoid sweet food. It can lead to weight gain, blood sugar problems, and an increased risk of heart disease, among other dangerous conditions. Practice personal hygiene. It protects you from infections or diseases that could weaken your immune system. It prevents you from spreading the infection to your loved ones and people you interact with daily. Exercise regularly. Exercise strengthens your heart and improves your circulation. The increased blood flow raises the oxygen levels in your body. This helps lower your risk of heart diseases such as high cholesterol, coronary artery disease, and heart attack. One thing you should stop is smoking. If you're going to stop smoking, it will improve your circulation, lower blood pressure and heart rate, and better oxygen levels and lung function, and reduce your risk of a heart attack. Coughing, shortness of breath, and sinus congestion will decrease. Excessive alcohol use can lead to increased risk of health problems such as injuries, violence, liver diseases, and cancer. So, avoid drinking alcohol. Avoid watching horror movies. Horror movies are designed to elicit certain emotions such as tension, fear, stress, and shock. This can cause increased heart rate and muscle tension. Next, you should manage your stress. When you're faced with stress, certain chemicals like hormones in your body are released. These hormones trigger many changes in your body, like blood pressure may rise, heart may pound, muscles may tighten, stomach may become tense, concentration and forgetfulness may get worse. Last but not the least is maintain your ideal weight. Ideal weight is based on your body mass index, your height and sex. There is ideal weight over the height of a boy and ideal weight over the height of a girl. Maintaining a healthy weight is important for health. In addition to lowering the risk of the heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and high blood pressure, it can also lower the risk of many different cancers. Remember, health is a relationship between you and your body. Those who think they have no time for healthy eating will sooner or later have to find time for illness.
Healthy heart cannot beat, that is why it feels so sweet.